Live, pal. Welcome to the One Stop Geek Shop. I am Billy at _Swan, the _Swan _man on Twitter. Hey, it's an old handle. Up yours! And
it works.
On the phone is David K. Johnson. David K. Johnson. J. Johnson. That sounds made up.
Lots of J's.
And we're coming to you live via studio for the first ever One Stop Geek Shop podcast. That's not the unrated version. This is the actual show. And Dave's on the phone because pandemic, which makes toy hunting terrible.
Not wrong.
So, I guess that's the cold open. And then I'll play this music, and there's the music.
I don't hear any music.
Motherfuck. God, no. It's not family friendly after all. It's fine. I didn't say the whole thing.
They knew where you were going.
I don't know. If I knew how to use this editing software, so help me. We got spice. It's spicy. So, that's the One Stop Geek Shop. The shop is open? I don't know. That seems, I feel like I ripped that off of a better podcast. A worse podcast, but a better podcast. Plurality of podcasts. Why don't you explain the name, Dave?
One Stop Geek Shop?
No, the name Dave. Your name. Explain
Name
David.
Dave?
No!
Good Lord.
Why
No,
One Stop Geek Shop?
It's around 2,000 years old. No.
Slaves.
No, just One Stop Geek Shop. It's a dream me and a buddy had ages ago. And I don't know, I don't want to explain this. I don't want people to steal it until we have it off the ground.
Because not your IP. Well, good thing you trademarked it. That's a good thing you trademarked it, buddy.
Oh yeah, we need paperwork.
If I learned anything about dreams, they always lead to cataclysmic failure and personal injury. So reach for the stars. That's what we're doing here. We're just, a couple of peeps complaining about the toy industry, what we find, what we wish we could find, and our problems with some things we can't find. At least that's the verve of the day. Why should they care about us? This is the intro, first episode. Nobody knows who the heck we are.
Doing good.
Yeah. I am Billy, as I mentioned earlier. I'm pretty rad. You don't check out my Twitter profile if you don't want to see some things. And that's okay, because this is America, and the internet is the swamp in which it resides now. So, my first job in early 2006, my first technical job, I was getting not kicked out, but running out of money to be at University of Kentucky. I am from Kentucky. And so I couldn't do my studies necessarily unless I was able to pay the rent. Everything had kind of dried up for this and that. And so my first job was down the street a ways at the Toys R Us, because I figured it's not food, nothing's going to spoil, and retail seems kind of not easy, but less maintenance than any other job I could try and get. And so I went and got the application, and I succeeded. After being a lifetime collector, I was then working with toys. And the through line pretty much fell through there. Ever since I was able to make my own money and not have to rely on as many donations, which you can do at patreon.com/OSGSpod. Slip us $1, you'll get the really ugly show and a lot of things extra, and the tiers get higher, and as we go off the ground, you'll find the perks grow. The perks shall grow with our live unboxings, which are free on YouTube right now. Sometimes, you get to call the shots. Maybe I'll mail you something. It just depends, but that's a sidetrack. So since I've had adult money, air quotes adult, but it's just helped the hobby grow. And then I ran into this guy, who you can't see because I'm not pointing. It's not a video stream. He is on the phone. That's Dave. Dave, what's your problem? Or what's your story? Why should they care?
I actually never knew that was your first job.
You didn't know I worked there for 3 months.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other story we'll have to tell later. Me, I've worked retail since, good God, 1999.
Oh, you got those
like
Phantom
a
Menace
Reese's
figs?
pizza. But yeah, 20 odd years of working retail jobs. Was it 5 years Target, Walmart, near a decade Target, 5 years Toys R Us. It all blends together after a while.
And so the thing about Dave that caught my eye seems incorrect, but there it is that I don't think it matters because Toys R Us died. More or less. In the US it died. Rest in power.
Well.
Until it comes back, which it won't. The thing was, he was like training me up, and then he asked if I collected. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what brought me to the gig, because at that point I had done a little bit of Star Wars, had done the G.I. Joes as a kid, Ghostbusters, my childhood was in like the heyday of Kenner. So if you get those little Kenner foldy books, Beetlejuice and Nerf and all that stuff on the inside. Cool. Yeah. The Dark Knight collection, Batman. That was my prime time for collecting, and a prime time for toys at large, where the licenses were a thing and everything had an action feature, but there was just a lot of what we would consider today like top tier licensing. And so that's what I grew up on. And I could go to Lexington fairly easily, and Lexington early on had 2 nothing but toy like stores. It had Toys R Us, and he had Children's Palace. And if anybody remembers Children's Palace, it went under a different name also, but there was a direct competitor. But what they did with their damaged carding and their RGD, their things that are too damaged to like sell, their broken blister cards or what have you, their spare toys, where they would put it in a bin for like kids to either get at a deep discount or literally play with, because it was built in very much the same way as Toys R Us. Action figures, dolls. In the center they had their video games, because it was under lock and key like jewelry, and competitive prices. You can find some of the pamphlets online these days where it's like 3 G.I. Joes for $9 or something crazy like that. RoboCop and the Ultra Police mega sale. And so that really formed my childhood. So when we went to Toys R Us, and I'm just like, yeah, man, I collect a bit. Dave then kicks open a base deck, which is the base of a shelf, which is 4 feet wide. And at his area, which was preschool, that was technically 8 feet, because it's 2 4x4, and then it would go in a weird triangle thing in the center. And he kicks it open, and it's nothing but, I want to say Saga? What era? 2006 Star Wars figures. Some collection.
That was the stash of Saga figures.
And I was just like, I think I'll be alright with trying to peep my, at that time, most fervent obsession, and to this day, my current obsession, which was dabbling at Marvel Legends because of the Punisher, but I had fallen head over heels for wrestling since around 1998. And so wrestling figures were the primary draw for me in terms of like, I'm doing wage slave work and busting my ass, but I will possibly get first dibs on Ruthless Aggression figures, which I discovered in college through eBay. Again, I was making my own money through theater and the things I was studying, so with that, I was the kid that was discovering that the collector's market was full and people's parents would sell their relatively new stuff on eBay, and that's how I padded a collection I had somewhat ignored for about 2 years. I had lapsed during Titantron. I came back in a big way for classic superstars, which are in effect Ruthless Aggression style, which are making a big comeback on the market today. But yeah, so that was my primary motive. So when I see that my superior officer has a base deck, at least one 4-foot base deck, and I'm not kidding, it's like finding a cache of weapons, where it's just nothing. Yak Face and Mon Mothmas and I don't know, Bail Organa's. Who was in that? It seems like there's a lot of the creatures.
It was ages ago, and I don't even collect Star Wars anymore. I don't remember.
I think that was around the time, that was before Build the Bar. But it felt like it was a lot of Cantina characters, like Rhodians and Yaddles and Paddles and Muddle Puddles. It was a lot of in-between stuff, because that's post Revenge of the Sith, where they're delving back into their legacy stuff, because they're about to re-release the original trilogy for the 3rd or 4th time on DVD. But
It
That's
was
what I
when they
remember.
actually started having good articulation in the figure line. But at the same time, they also had such a wide assortment per wave that, I mean, I saw that, and I make customs, so I was getting figures left and right for parts.
Yeah, we had a 10% discount, and that's bonus content. We'll get our old manager on the horn at one point. But that we did some less than, ethically dubious things, but for the right of, consider if there's any long-term collectors. This is 2006, and my tenure there was about till 2008. And we're talking G.I. Joe 25 drops, a lot of Star Wars Legacy, and the video game Force Unleashed comes out, and so there's a lot of really cool Star Wars stuff. Because that's when Toys R Us had, which you can see in Canada still, I think, that's when Toys R Us had, straight 2 full aisles of nothing but Star Wars, because that's where you get your AT-ATs, that's where you get your Millennium Falcon. And was that the end of them? Well, whatever, but... So, we're kids at a candy store, except we're taking, the retail hits. We didn't, we earned our scallywag. Our ill-gotten gain was not free. We paid enough of a price. And I'm certain our doctors will tell us in another 20 years that our lungs are full of wax and Jeffrey's secret carcinogenic blend.
We have inhaled more than our share of box dust, and that is the truth.
That wax dries your skin up, and then you're really susceptible to cuts. And then I went to Target for more money after I got my Indiana Jones collection at 10%. I went on to Target for more money and learned retail there. We'll talk about Target in a little bit. And, then I started doing jobs where it's just logistics. But, with the advent of and the proliferation of the internet and iPhone and all that, I've kept strong tabs on the collector's market, and it's all been crazy. So, I would say I'll wrap up the intro. You get a little idea of who we are. I'll wrap up my end of the intro, and then you can follow. I'll wrap it up with saying that my collections at present, the things that I actively know things about, and am seeking, and will find, are obviously Mattel, WWE Elites, anything wrestling pretty much, AEW by Jazzwares. I'm all in for that. I might be sneaking back into Marvel Legends, damn it. Ghostbusters, and NECA. That seems to be anything 3 3/4 also. Because I have a big holdover of G.I. Joe, but I'm not giving any time to the recent G.I. Joe, which makes it salty, makes the show. But that's me. If it's Indiana Jones, if it's G.I. Joe, if it's, 3 3/4, if it's wrestling, I'll cover that into the world. Little NECA love. Dave, what about you? What are you currently into? What's your expertise?
Current expertise, good God. Well, it's always going to be Transformers. I've been collecting action figures since, let's see, my very first action figure was the original Starscream. I got it for Christmas when it came out to retail, so that was, 84, maybe?
I don't know.
And, my parents didn't even remotely realize the kind of addiction that would have caused. But I mean, what can you say? It was an airplane that turned into a robot. It was the coolest blasted thing in the world.
So you're a little older than me. So you're also, though, in that golden era of action figures and toys in general. Oh, yeah. Because you're talking about ground floor Transformers and Masters of the Universe and all that.
All the big toy lines from the 80s I had some of at some point. Particularly nowadays, I like the updated versions, to be perfectly honest. Most of my customization involves adding articulation or improving action figures in some way, so if a toy line does that for me, even better.
Woo!
But yes, primarily it's going to be Transformers, Marvel Legends.
Yeah, you actually know who those characters are that they release in every Build-A-Figure set.
I mean, with my toy collection is much like my knowledge of toys. It's just a bottomless pit of despair. I am Smaug on his horde, and all will despair. But yeah,
There it is. So, we do have a vague structure. We got structure. I'd love some music cues if any of you musicians. I've got some really good stuff from a musician, but I can always use a little bit more. So I'd say, what do you think? The first little bit we should talk about, we call the hunt. It's what we've done. Our crimes upon retail. The things that we purchased in our fandom, hot or not, and, general well-being. So how was your hunt this previous time? There's no previous time, so you can just go, because just please don't go within 2 years, but relevant would be nice, but it's the first episode, so we can kind of fudge the numbers a little bit. But what are your successful and unsuccessful hunts?
I just got a couple of figures today, actually. Target, of all places.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into this, Lexington, Kentucky, which is where we are,
Woo!
has, I don't know why, but it tends to be a notorious dead zone for new toys. We go stretches of just empty pegs for months on end, and then all kinds of new stuff appears, gets bought up, and then nothing.
I'd say we definitely we feel the refresh amount, especially lately, but we've always kind of felt that, like, if it's not in August, you're probably going to have to wait till October, and then if it's not in October, late November, and then February? Like, we feel that, but we also, I feel like we have, with all the peddlers malls and stuff, we have a lot of scalpers, because the cons here, you will see the scalpers. We've worked in retail, we've been side by side with these scalpers, we've dealt with these scalpers, and it's like, somewhere around 2011, Hot Wheels people got an ear for other collectibles. And the internet, as mentioned, where it's easier to be a collector, it's also easier to be a scalper. And I feel like a lot of crossover happened where people figured out what they could flip if they just bought it early and had the company credit card to burn on it. And we certainly suffer from that, being, like, located where we are. It seems that way. I don't have any proof otherwise. I know upstate New York, a little northern, upstate New York and Ohio, they have a whole different ballgame, but it's equally just vicious. But what we've seen, I can attest. We've always felt the feast and the famine, but it's amazing now.
More famine than feast, but yeah.
So who'd you pick up? You got 2, 3?
Yes. So we're not going to discuss prices. No. Apparently, Target reset recently because they had all of the current Marvel Legends 2-packs, like multiples, sitting on the shelf. They must have just put them out.
Is that the
nice.
Movie stuff?
So they had Xavier Magneto set.
Okay.
They had one of, this is not helping anyone since it's a podcast. It's probably gone by now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
The Storm and I can't remember.
Not
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird. Or it is Thunderbird. Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, yes.
Because I've seen the images of the. Apparently, Target went hard on those 2-packs, so they're like $60, $50.
50.
Yay!
They had multiples of Deadpool and Warhead, and Old Man Logan and Old Man Hawkeye, which is the set I got.
Pig warmer. No COVID, just pig warmer.
I've got it pre-ordered too. I want that Hawkeye for parts.
Madness.
Yeah.
Do all the heads come off? And this is YouTube. You can watch me remove the head of Frank Castle. Something the Mafia could never do. Are they that smooth now? The heads on Marvel Legends?
For the most part, of the ones I've dealt with, most of the ball joints all tend to be universal. Okay. So they're coming off pretty easy.
Yay. Because John Bernthal doesn't want to give it up. His little pinhead is on there. But I'm guessing that's a different construction.
No, that's a fight. But it does come off. I've reused that body a couple times now.
So you picked up...
I will say, Motorcycle Frank Castle's ball joint is slightly, very, very, very slightly larger than the regular.
Yeah.
Than the regular bodies.
He's a big, beefy fig. I love that fig. The more I handle him, the more spent. It's like dating me. I'm way into it. The more I get handled, oh man.
Yeah, you can thank the Luke Cage Netflix series for that body frame.
Oh, really?
That's who that was originally, yes.
That's fair. That's
Luke
a fair
Cage,
point.
They've used it for Hydro Man, which I just bought a loose recently so I can switch out his arms.
Well, they are some fit, fun boys. I enjoy the hell out of the construction of that figure. Is that all you picked up? Was 1 2-pack? I find that hard to believe.
Well, I got the 2-pack at Target. I found a pair of the 3 new Apex figures at Walmart.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you don't know what that is, but I'm going to guess the majority of the internet does.
Damn
Apex
kids.
is a video game. It's just a multiplayer shoot 'em up.
I prefer Among Us. You're welcome. I'm woke. I'm with it. I'm hip. I'm cool. We just talked about the 80s.
I don't think you've ever played that.
Among Us?
Yes.
Au contraire, mon frere. You're getting figs of those? I guarantee we're getting figs of those. Sidetrack. We're getting Among Us merch. I mean, it's a fig in so much as, like, it's a Funko Pop. It's smooth, it's round, it can be easily painted different colors.
Pencil topper.
Yeah. Add a banana. But that's my avatar. So you got 3 Apex figures. Okay.
Two.
Two.
They didn't actually
Two.
have the robot, which was disappointing.
I knew there was a robot involved.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I got today.
That's the haul? Just today?
Just today, yes.
Good
that's not counting,
gravy.
like, orders that showed up via FedEx or anything else.
I mean, that's all I've been doing lately, mostly, is getting orders through the mail, but hey, if they arrived, hey, you know, that's what I got. I'll go on to I'm going to be a little more further back in time. So,
Yeah, I got a pair of Mythic Legions figures from
Mythic
Big Bad Toy
Legions?
Store.
What are those?
Mythic Legion figures,
For those that don't know.
Mythic Legion figures are a toy line created by the Four Horsemen, which were
Arn Anderson,
some
Tully
of
Blanchard,
Hasbro's
Ric
best
Flair.
designers.
Wait. Oh, that Four Horsemen.
Not Hasbro, my bad. Mattel. Some of Mattel's best designers that worked on
Popping
their
a soda,
DC
soda
line,
pop.
their Masters of the Universe line.
I
They
remember
went on to make their own toys.
the hype for that Batman line that they made. And how like exclusive the gray and black Batman was going to be. And people were freaking out. And then it was just a figure.
That was another figure that we were hiding under base decks. Yeah, that's the sad truth of it, guys. You suspect that people working in retail are hiding figures to buy for themselves. They're doing it. 100%.
Now they got to fight Brickseek and Popfinder as well, though. That's an uphill battle, so I commend them. The downside is...
it's going to be harder for them to do that with it. We definitely had a bit more of an advantage
Yeah, we could just do it on the
in the
slide.
Dark Ages.
/ our manager was down because he also... Almost everybody...
He was also a collector.
Almost everybody at Toys R Us around 2007 that worked in the back collected something. And it was testament to how much Toys R Us actually received that they actually had things on the pegs because of what we combined collected. G.I. Joe 25, McFarlane Sports, DC. Everybody wanted a piece of those DC figures. Marvel Legends.
Hell, I even got you into Transformers
Got
for a
me
little
into
while.
Transformers because of the G1 remakes. I was like, that's rad. Poverty changes things, but that was later. It's fine.
Yes, this is true.
But, you know, I think I still have the Starscream. Might have disappeared. But my hunt was largely put on YouTube, so I'll just make it kind of brief with a little bit of detail. The Firefly Funhouse exclusive Bray Wyatt came in the mail for me. Had to pre-order that bad boy. I already got the basic Bray Wyatt that came with the actual collars. You don't have a collared shirt. This Bray Wyatt's from WrestleMania, so he has more of an Under Armour shirt. And the big selling point for this figure was that he came with the 4 puppets, 4 out of 5, that he, you know, does his little puppet show with, or what have you. His little Firefly Funhouse show. So that was worth the, like, $32, $35 alone. But the packaging, which is on the YouTube, so you should like, share, and subscribe. The packaging It's not only like a displayable box, but you can slide out the back, and it unfolds into a cardboard diorama with little slots to put the puppets in. So you can have a literal reincarnation, or reenactment of the Firefly Funhouse gags. And that means that there's like 3 to 4 variations on Bray Wyatt / The Fiend, but since he alters time and space, you can set up a perfect diorama with your extreme sets, which I do! I am, and the head scan is great. I didn't get any true effects mess-ups. I think the construction on him is way better than the prototype led us to believe, because he looked real simple and lame, compared to the basic, which is, by nature, kind of simple and lame these days. But no, he has, like, rad boots paint on. He has good deco, even though it's simplistic. Like, he's ready to rock. And so that's a major hit to my fig fed. We got your big Punisher and motorcycle set, which I reviewed, and I'm holding in my hand right now, because it wasn't that long ago. And so I just, popped him out. He looks like Hugo Weaving in one of the heads, but his eyeball's all weird.
Now that you've said that, I can't look at the battle-damaged head and not see Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving gets hard. Goes hard in the paint. The bike is great. It's great for wrestling if I really wanted to have the American Badass Undertaker, like, on there. But it's just a good catch-all 118. 118, right?
No, it's 112.
I'm way off. Yeah, there it is.
112 is 6-inch. 1/6 is 12-inch.
Why didn't they say so?
Is 4.
They should just say that. But irregardless of that, like, I like his elbows. I think his entire construction, as I mentioned earlier, it's solid stuff. It's probably the best Frank Castle I've seen in a good while, because a lot of them are just re-releases, in a manner of speaking. Repaints. I think I'm whittling down to just keeping the one Toy Biz, like, homage figure on the card. So that means that another Punisher is going to get cracked wide open for your visual entertainment. Let's see, I got the RoboCop 2, about to be unboxed. RoboCop 2 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive by Hiya Toys. I'm going to open that bad boy to see what the construction's like. The carding's really cool. I kind of wanted to keep it inside, but I also really need to know how those figures are articulated, because if they look way better than they looked on the website on BBTS, and I think if he's super articulated and that scale, I'm gonna have to get, like, the lot. I'm just gonna have to run the table on that. But this one's the exclusive, the Comic-Con exclusive, pre-ordered long ago. Thanks to the pile of loot, it's not as bad, but it's the one where
forgetting to do that.
it's the one where he is reprogrammed a bit, and the kids graffito tag him, so he has orange paint on the front of his head and Kick Me sprayed on the back, and that's how the figure is presented, with the Kick Me side front and center, inside of a box, protecting the card for all those MOC peeps out there. I think that's about it. What the hell? Oh, Super 7. Yeah, no, I don't have a Super 7. I think that's it for... I sold stuff today. I didn't buy any figs. Yeah, so that's it for the hunt. Up next, thing is, what's next? It's what we want to pre-order, what's coming out. Basically, the news, the things that we've seen. That's what's next. Dave, you got anything for what's next?
Yes, actually. Hasbro, last Monday, revealed the Marvel's Black Cat for the Retro Spider-Man line. And she looks fantastic. And the cat accessory alone is almost worth the buy. But that might just be me.
She's Black Cat.
It's Black Cat.
Needlessly horny. Of course she looks good.
The character is written that way. There's no denying that.
Is that online?
Although that has gotten her in trouble in the comics. Dead silence.
Yeah, I was like, is that all you got?
Radio.
There's I bookmark these things. Is that all you got for what's next?
For what's new, yeah.
Shit. Poop.
What I saw this week.
We got Elite 79 Undertaker. Will be available and packed at Walmart, of course. At Walmart, kind of like The Rock was. So he's the exclusive. He's in the gear that he had against when he was tagging with Roman Reigns against somebody, Shane and Drew McIntyre, I remembered. So it's the last episode of The Last Ride, if you watched it. So it's a great Taker Elite. I'm really glad he's going to be not as hard to find as his Decade of Domination, which pre-ordered on Walmart.com, and it hasn't quit me yet, but I'm just waiting for it to. News dropped that the Ultimate Editions, which will be Amazon Ringside online exclusive only, the Ultimate Editions have moved from being brick and mortar to online, and that the Macho Man Randy Savage will have a jacket for the, not this Tuesday in Texas, but the other one, the other rubber match against Jake the Snake Roberts, where he was victorious. So that is a peak, like, early 90s Randy Savage, and it's in that Ultimate style, which we have largely not embraced because it's not that different from Elites, but it is that much more expensive. But hey, it'll be cool, you know. The Ultimate Edition Fan Takeover, which is like the Ultimate Edition, and the Fan Takeover Basics, but I forget where it's exclusive to. I didn't write it down. I think it's online for Amazon or Walmart. Oh, you look it up if you really want it. And that's the thing that we posted earlier, where much like the much like the Fan Takeover Elites, Mattel runs a poll online, and fans get to choose one of 3 options for the talent. They had a Johnny Gargano, how white do you want him? You know, usually it's for multiple gears, but sometimes, especially in this case, it's for gears that are basically identical, and this is no different with Jeff Hardy. The figure looks great, but it's from like 2008, and I think recent. And in that, they all have the Will-O-the-Wisp-ish, like, face paint with the eyeballs on the lids and all that, so you'll have like 2 or 3 heads denoting that very similar time period, probably with different belts, like Spinner Belt, World Heavyweight, and then Intercontinental? But they're just so similar. And the poll that they showed, they didn't even try to make it look that much different. He has long, stretchy shirt, face paint, funky hair, and a belt. And that's not enough meat on the bone for me. And it's not like there's a shortage of great Jeff Hardys, because they've been knocking Jeff Hardy out since he re-signed. So is it worth $35 to $40 to get another one when the other ones have multiple heads already? Like, it's the same body mold. The difference is the torso cut instead of the, the ab slice or whatever. I wrote on here something about Mega Constructs had a thing about Mega Constructs, but that's all I got on Mega Constructs. Dave collects Mega Constructs. I just noticed
I do, in fact.
There's new hotness with Mega Constructs. Like, oh no, seems relevant, but hell with these notes, they're in Sharpie. Speaking of exclusivity, we got your WrestleMania 37 is starting to hit for pre-order, and that's the one with the Build-A-Figure, and that's where I bemoaned that I wish I could miss the Rocco puppet, which I don't want. Rocco is a puppet that the Legion of Doom took with Paul Ellering, who is the Build-A-Figure, except there was a really horrible time where he had the puppet and was like, "What are you looking at, dummy?" And I thought that was trash. Unfortunately, you have to get the puppet, you have to get Rocco, you can't skip the figure, but the figures are all like winners, and Dave pointed out that Build-A-Figures are as expensive as the figure you don't want, and in WrestleMania 37 Elite exclusive, a lot of words, in the WrestleMania 37 exclusive line, you have Elites of China, with, I think she has the women's title, she's in the purple gear, so it's standalone China, which is pretty great. You have Edge from WrestleMania 22, I have to have it. Goldberg from whatever, I guess he's bad, but he's whatever. So it's not the worst figure in the world. And Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 9? Yeah. 9. Because he has the moo cow pattern on his tights. On his gear, and he's got the very fun... So they're all really good true effects, and some of them, you gotta have a China. The only other Mattel China we have is the DX 2-pack China, which is great, but the new one would be several years down the road, where she has the Amazon sparkle look. Edge is in his hardcore gear, gotta have him. Goldberg, I think it's the more modern Goldberg with the Universal, so fine. We don't have a True Effects Old Man Berg yet, so I'll be down for that, especially if it gets me Paul Ellering with, much like Billy Graham, he'll have 2 heads, denoting 2 different eras, where he's young Paul Ellering, all jacked and stuff, and old Paul Ellering, and I love old wrestler figures. So he can come out with your AOP, who are future endeavored. So, And one last thing on what's next. is that over the weekend, it's Boss Fight Studios, Boss Fight Toys, who I fell in love with Vitruvian Hacks. My Vitruvian Hacks collection took over my life, as I said. That's why I'm so 3 3/4, because I have a lot of G.I. Joes, but then Vitruvian Hacks happened, and I fell into it real deep. And they're making Legends of Luchador figures. And they just released their, I'd call them basic, but they're not, because they have the basic, like, Mattel arms, which don't do a lot, but the crotch piece, the legs, are ball-jointed good times. And it's the first ever Taya Valkyrie, which looks great, your first ever, like, action figure of Juventud Guerrera with mask, and Hoovy was going to have a figure back in the RA days, and he got cut from the line to finish out the Mexicools because of his bad behavior. So we never got a Hoovy juice, but now we can! And the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, and they come with gimmick t-shirts over their gear like they're chilling out in the back. And they're all in scale across the board with your Mattel Basics, with your Mattel Elites, and with your AEW figures. So that's just a shot in the arm for any Fig Fed or anybody that collects that way. And I was on the fence, but after seeing what their basics would look like, now they're a little more expensive at $19.99 plus shipping and handling. But I mean, that's one more shot at, like, helping a third party, helping a fourth party, like helping someone else get into the game and make quality product that we actually want, as opposed to, you know, the 8th Miz in one basic series. Like, there's only so many of those you can have. I'd rather have the representation of the Lucha Bros. You know, I'd rather have the first Juventud Guerrera. So I'm hyped for that. Way more than, like, Boss Fight Studios. What is it? The Phantom. The Phantom and Flash Gordon, and like, I might be old, but I'm not like that old. Not impressed by those figures, but that's what's next.
I don't know, they're pretty cool. No, I saw that Boss Fight also announced they're doing Court of the Dead action figures based on the Court of the Dead. So that was pretty cool.
Is that basketball zombies?
No, it's not basketball zombies.
Could it be? Well, then what is it? Because I have no idea what Court of the Dead is. And I refuse to do a Google search right here, right now. I'm recording things. Court of the Dead. Gunshot noise. I got nothing. But are those 3 3/4?
They are 3, both boss fights, so of course they're 3 3/4.
Ooh, well.
What I knew about them before this point was they were usually statues.
Strange and unusual. Okay. Now it's time for the real beef. Because I got beef. I got beef with a side of hot tea, and I'll try to be real nice and keep it family friendly. Because it's time for the hot toy take! Hot toy take. We got a hot toy take. I'm gonna do a song, and there's an audience in the background. Everybody loves hot toy take. You're gonna say the things you want to hear.
Maybe. You might agree, you might not.
Hey.
It's kind of the point. Hence, the hot take.
Hot take. Spare no expense or opinion or fifi. So, Dave, what's got you mad or just in general, like, disappointed or whatever? What's your hot toy take, man?
Alright, we've been talking about that new Punisher. And that, your motorcycle Punisher, it looks good. I like the way the figure looks.
Like the feeling
and
in my hand.
I like the way the pinless joints in the arms look. But if that is how these figures are going to be made going forward, it's going to be really difficult to customize these.
You can't just take it as...
You can't take them apart.
As the creator intended, though. Why must you harm their art?
I don't care what the creator intended. I don't want them stifling my own creativity just because... they're gluing things down. No.
So how does that work exactly? Is it just...
it's the same way as... well, you've seen how the wrist joints work.
Yeah.
Or the elbow joints on the female figures. It's just injection molding.
Injection molding? Well, alright. That's what's got you...
me saying things like I'm actually know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what he going on about.
That might be the right phrase.
What?
No, they take the elbow joint, the double joint for the elbow, place it within the mold itself, inject the upper bicep and the lower forearm, and it forms around the elbow, provided the elbow's in the right spot, because that does screw up some from time to time. And voila, one solid piece.
Well, there it is.
No pins.
And you hate that?
For the sake of customization, I'm not a fan. For aesthetics, looks nice. But no, if that's how it's going to be going forward, it's going to put a crimp in a lot of my future plans and creations.
Crimpidelphia. Type. Retraction real quick. The Boss Fight Studios Figs, the wrestling aforementioned basic but not basic Legends of Lucha Libre. That wave is called Legends of Lucha Libre Fanaticos. We retweeted it. I'm just making sure that I cover that base. My hot toy take. Fills me with rage. Like I feel like it's one of those things where it's like I had one that was like Target and Walmart pre-orders, which we can just mutually say, like, I wish Target would stop charging my account over and over and over again and just do it.
That is a weird thing.
Same with Walmart. I have that fucking... Oh, no! Well, it's gone. Not family friendly anymore. I said the word.
47 minutes, man.
I said the thing!
47 minutes of this conversation, and we just...
I could edit. Is that
so
where it's
close.
At? That's where it's at. I could pin that. I might just try and bleep that. Haha! So there it is. At the 41...
Maybe, put something over the audio.
41 minute mark. I'm writing it down to keep all of you safe at home. We gotta stay healthy, we gotta stay safe. But it brings it out of me. The Target pre-order, the Walmart pre-order thing, we hate them. I put up a poll. Please vote on it. Because if you had to save a loved one's life, would you rather pre-order a thing from Walmart, Target, or your family's dead? That's the options. Because it's what it feels like. I don't know why they insist on recharging over and over again and not just keeping their money. Just keep it. I thought I had spent it, and you keep acting, and then put it back in my account, and then you take it out again just to overdraft me. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I thought we had settled this.
It is a really strange practice. I'm not entirely certain why it does that.
Like, it hasn't had any direct, like, Fig-related impact, but it's certainly something I have to constantly keep an eye on. If I had forgotten I pre-ordered something, like I did that Stone Cold Steve Austin Hulk Hogan WWE Eternia, which I love. That wrestling ring with the snakes, the Viper's Nest. That thing keeps charging me, and then uncharging me, and charging me again, and that's like $52. Sometimes I need that $52. I thought I had spent it long ago, because that pre-order was dated in June. Or August. I pre-ordered that for my birthday. And it keeps coming back, but it hasn't shipped yet. Yeah, hot toy take. We got room for two. It's the first episode. Hey, Target. How come the first time we pre-order the Legends, the WWE Legends, because it's always, I'm a wrestling boy. So we pre-order. As a pre-orderer, I assume that I get the first grab, right? That's what you think. Not like G.I. Joe and Target. It's happened twice with WWE Legends, where I've pre-ordered it well in advance, and it arrives on the pegs weeks before I even get a shipping notification. So people are already scalping that stuff. If they haven't already, they're already selling it on the secondary market for 3 times its value because they have it already. They already have the item. Why don't we have the item? You've been charging me enough times. Just mail it. If you have it, just mail it to me already. I don't care. I'm not the min on card guy, so I'll take the hits for being like, I don't care if you throw it in a bag and mail it to me. Is the figure intact? Great. That's why the packaging exists in the first place. I understand that there's a lot, I have a lot of mint on card stuff as well. But that's the original intent of packaging. To keep the gooey inside safe. To keep your Bebop and Rocksteady $70 action figure set intact through shipment. Just because it looks nice. It wasn't, it is now meant to be, kept that way for some. But, I don't get heated about it because I'm opening that thing up anyway. I bought it to feel the little nibblies on it. Much like the Punisher's getting groped right now! So I need you guys to, like, mail me that stuff instead of just dropping it so a guy can fill up his Toyota with them and try to sell it to me at $75 a piece at Comic-Con when I already know it's not worth... Target's worse than Walmart. They both equally are terrible, but they have all the exclusives because Toys R Us is gone. It's been a very Toys R Us centric... My God. Very Toys R Us centric kind of app, but that's the world we live in, where like we miss having that brick and mortar place. If we had that, it would solve so many issues like this, and we're not the only ones thinking it and saying it. So, what do? There's a literal adult market out there because most of the stuff that's popular right now is for people courting middle age like myself. Masters of the Universe? Kids don't know that. Ghostbusters? I guess. G.I. Joe? Like, that's all Reaganomics stuff, man. Turtles are immortal, but come on. You got WWE elites of Freddie Blassie and superstar Billy Graham. I don't know, I don't have a frame of reference for them aside from being managers. I didn't see the heyday of them. I watched the wrestlers they inspired. So it's weird that that there's no market because we don't want one. That seems...
That's entirely accurate. Even Hasbro's doing the same thing with the Transformers, with Siege and Earthrise, all being the remakes, faithful, beautiful remakes of the G1 series figures, and the next stuff, Kingdom line, is going to be all Beast Wars stuff.
Yes, I'm kind of hyped for that. I love Beast Wars, Rat Trap. But my personal toy take, again, hot take, Ringside Collectibles, I put them over a lot. And during AEW Dynamite, the previous week, this most recent Dynamite, it was the 30th anniversary of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is a big deal. We love Chris Jericho. And so while watching that, apparently, somewhere between then, the beginning of Dynamite, and the end, that 2 hours, Ringside, as an online retailer, decided to pull some influencer Matt Cardona stuff and make a surprise drop of the 1 in 500 Chris Jericho figure. At $99 mint and $89 loose. Or, damaged packaging. And they made this drop in a minimal window at that price, out of the blue. Unannounced. And they are the leading retailer. And I take great umbrage with that. I think it's the price point that's the most, and I really despise certain members of certain communities that I am a part of being like, yeah, but it's the market, man, and if it can sell at that price, it should sell at that price. I'm like, get your scalper mentality out of here. The whole point of 1 of 500 is that you luck out. And I can understand a markup, but instant overly valuable item from Go, and we just dropped it whenever. And if you were watching the show and actually watching the talent that it's based off of in real time, you missed out because you weren't on your phone at the appropriate time. And it sold out in 10 minutes. Would I have paid $100? No. Because the difference between that and the little bit of bubbly box set, which is amazing, is the t-shirt. And I'm hard-pressed to believe that we won't get an Inner Circle shirt soon. But I just thought that was such a thumb in the eye to sell the variant that they claimed they would sell at a modest markup, and instead went just... they went real hard at selling it, at scalper prices, and they're the retailer. You can't get them at Walmart. I've never seen AEW on the pegs at Walmart, except for one lonely Kenny Omega, who I, socked away for our old Toys R Us manager. Beyond that, I've never seen AEW on the pegs. I have AEW in my house because I pre-ordered them because I'm a mark for AEW and I love AEW. But if I hadn't made that investment and was just fortunate enough to have the money to do so at that time, I would not have them. Or I'd be on Mercari paying twice, 3 times as much. Now they're supposed to come out with the reset. I've seen some photo proof of that, but that's wild. And then you add in the forced rarity of 1 of 500, whack. I feel like Jax, which is the old company that Jazzwares is, the Jeremy Padawer, same thing. They did this with lamer figures back in the Ruthless Aggression era, and they're doing it now. It's just that the market itself has evolved into this thing, and I don't entirely enjoy that. It's fine when it's like 1 of 10 Warrior or something, but when the retailer takes part in it directly, I don't know. It's fishy. Don't enjoy. But then again, that's karma for me taking all those fucking... did it again. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe hero points from the 2-pack.
Not even within 10 minutes.
Come on! There's a hot take. You gotta get... I marked it down. It might get edited. It might not. If you're listening, if you're offended, this is the part where we would say, this is the mailbag, and this is where we get, respond to stuff that's happening. But aside from state-o-verse, I got nothing. I got no interactions. What do you have? You have anything? Mailbag
interactions?
Empty. Yeah, mailbag's empty. But we haven't, it's first episode.
Interactions? No, I'm a shut-in. I don't interact with anyone.
My mom says the show is cool, except she probably doesn't. She said that there's no future in that, and I said, is there a future? Boom! Take that. Think about that.
Here we are.
Here we are. In living color, live. There will be plenty of YouTube live streams, but I think that wraps up this week, in this inaugural episode. 2, count them, 2 obscenities. I'm doing good.
Well,
I'm feeling froggy.
There is one actual segment we're skipping.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, we had an outline. And
I know, I'm reading from it.
It's just crashing. Nothing wants to work.
See?
No, where'd it go?
I wrote it on paper.
Never grow up. Retrospective.
Oh, I thought that was bonus content. That's... Do you have a retrospective?
Actually, old school vintage toy line that's kind of gotten a nod recently was Mattel. Where'd it go?
Mattel what?
Here it is. Dino Riders.
Oh.
Mattel put out that mini pack of the Rulon Warriors Battle Pack of they're all like molded figures, so they don't move or anything. Molded in 2 colors, which I cannot tell you the colors because I'm colorblind. It could be green, it could be blue, who knows. But Dino Riders, man. And knowing that Mattel actually has the Dino Riders license, I think Imaginext is owned by Mattel, right? Because Dino Riders was it is a wonderfully imaginative series from the 80s, and I've always thought that whoever still had that license, they could just make it into an Imaginext line. Because they've already got the dinosaur molds, you've already got the human molds. All you really need to do is just make some of the monster people, the ant guys, shark guys, and snake guys.
Right.
But the fact that Mattel's even thinking about the line is really cool.
Right.
So if we're to get more dinosaurs, more Dino Rider stuff, anything, that would be awesome, and I would be very happy.
Cadillacs and dinosaurs. So then what was the original wave and stuff like?
The original toys?
Yeah, that's what I meant by retrospective. You got the research on that?
Oh wow, that's work. I can tell you what I remember of them. They were just...
I remember Silverhawks. How's that?
Silverhawks.
Things
Wonderful.
we can cover is great. It's great. This is me not worrying about it.
Well, yeah.
It's a first effort. 2 obscenities. I'm fine.
Actually, the fact that I haven't sworn yet is really impressive.
Yeah, we were talking about Mega Blocks or whatever, and that's like the pre-orders. Hey, I didn't ask the price of those things, but I can figure out in my head, along with some canny listener, what the MSRP on your hunting this week was. So you said no prices. It's like, oh no.
That was
after a while.
Oh wait, no, I also got Domino, the Deadpool movie Domino, along with those 2 Apex figures. So yeah, you can do the math. The math is all there.
Oh my God.
Shut up.
It's a pandemic.
We do what we have to survive.
And if you'd like to help us do what we have to survive, that's just $1 at patreon.com/OSGSpod, where you'll get the even more obscenities, cranking off on stuff. We'll have the complete retrospectives. You'll get early content, as mentioned before. You can get it live. You can get total interaction, or just say what's up. You can just say what's up to us at One Stop Geek Shop Pod on Twitter. Kids like the Twitter. You can join the Facebook group, I heard. Don't know. Don't have the deets on the Facebook group, but I heard you could join that.
It's possible. There's word out there. Is there word out there? There should be word out there.
There should be word out there.
There will be word out there.
There will be word. Just do the hand signal, the right one. If you do the wrong one, we'll send some other friends out for you. But do the handshake and become a part of it. Get involved. We're trying to build a community here, as they say.
Yes, indeed. That's part of the dream. Build a community. Collectors helping collectors.
And that's a great hashtag that we stole. We're very much a part of the Collectors Helping Collectors hashtag. A lot of great NECA TMNT sharing there. So, stay frosty. Keep apprised. I am Billy at the _swan_man. There's Dave.
Ricochet _19.
Right. And for the One Stop Geek Shop podcast, never grow up, never surrender.